So welcome back once again. We are here for the last deep dive session for today. Quick question. How many of you have used Wetransfer or one of their tools earlier? All right. I'm more keen on hands that are not up right now. Our speaker here is here representing Wetransfer, a company all of us are familiar with, in one way or another. It was founded in the Netherlands right here in 2009, and it's within the first 3 months they were being used in almost 190 different countries. So that's a very impressive achievement. That said, Wetransfer is much more than a file transfer tool, and to tell us more about this is Lina Roos. She's going to join us here. Lina has been a key for the company's efforts in terms of leading the ESG within the company, but also helping build a business that is achieving climate neutrality and also gaining certifications like B Corp. So let's welcome with your best cheer, Lina Roos, everyone.
All right, thank you everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you Aditi for that amazing introduction. So I'm gonna talk to you about how Wetransfer is doing business better and how all of you in the business that you're creating, if you're creatives, how you can also include certain things. If you're investors, how can you push your businesses where you invest in to do better every year. So I'm gonna talk about 5 changes that we made that you can all make too. And hopefully after today, you're going to feel empowered and be like, okay, I'm ready to either start a business. So it's a muscle that we've been developed over the years. So it's nothing that we started from scratch. So most of you know Wetransfer as a file transferring service, right? And we have evolved to a one-stop shop for creative professionals. So basically, we're helping them to deliver amazing work from A to B, but also collaborate with different clients and even get paid. So you can actually have your business. If you're a photographer, for example, you can sell your photographies via Wetransfer. But majority of people don't know that we're also an advertising business. So if you go to wetransfer.com, you're going to see all the amazing advertising that we have, which are created exclusively for us. And then we also have an editorial platform called We Present. Have you heard about We Present? No? Please follow it on Instagram. You're going to love it. It has all the stories about creativity. It's about inspiration. It's about sharing how can we create a better world, a better future for ourselves. And it's very fun. And I actually won an Oscar. So majority of people don't know that Wetransfer won an Oscar back in 2022 for an amazing commission work with the artist Riz Ahmed, which I really recommend. It's free online. You can find it on YouTube. Just Google Wetransfer Oscar, and you'll find it. So we've been doing much more than that, but a lot of people don't know. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is that we've been able to share what we do, not only to our shareholders, but also to the communities and the planet around us. And that's why back in 2020, we decided to become a B Corp. Are you familiar with the B Corp framework, B Corp certification? Anyone? Raise your hands if you are. Okay, just a few. Awesome, over there, back there, great. So we decided to become a B Corp in 2019. And it was 10 years since we started the company, and we said, okay, how are we gonna grow? If we keep growing the next 10 years, what kind of business do we wanna be? And so it was clear that we wanted to be something else, that we wanted to ensure that we meet high standards for social and environmental impact. And so we became a B Corp. What's a B Corp? It's actually a framework that all of you can use. If you're investing in a business, you can ask those business to just do the assessment. If you're creating your business, you can use it as a guide. It's really like a map that helps you create impact in 5 different areas. And it's helping you balance people, planet, and profit. So the money that you gather as a company, the profit that you gain, you share it with your investors, your employees, the planet, and your communities. And so to get that certification is a very rigorous process. You have to go through more than 250 questions. You have to answer a lot of things about your business. You have to work with a cross-functional team to be able to achieve that. And it takes more or less a year and a half. And if you get 80 points, it's a scoring mechanism. If you get more than 80 points, you become a B Corp. If you go, the maximum score is 200. So if you think of businesses like Patagonia, which is also a B Corp, it has like 166 points. So, you know, the medium business that applied to get a B Corp gets around 50. And so it's really hard to just make it as a B Corp, and it's even harder to maintain it. So when we got our B Corp certification back in 2020, we got a score of 80.4, and you might think like, ooh, you barely made it. Yes, we barely did. But I'm very proud that after 3 years of very hard work, we improved. Yes, that's the spirit. We got a 101.2, so we increased 25% just in 3 years. And you're gonna ask yourself like, wait, why does it matter? And actually it matters a lot to us because now we're in really, really good company. We are just doing as much impact at companies like Ben & Jerry's, which is also a B Corp, as Allbirds, which is the shoes company, the Body Shop, Alpro, that you find in all Albert Heijn shops. And I included also our investors, which is HPE Growth. So we're very proud that one of our investors is also a B Corp. So we're creating kind of like a movement within our business to ensure that everyone is doing their part. So in these 3 years, we've been able to prove that doing responsible business is possible, that actually you can be a profitable business and make impact at the same time. And it's a muscle that all of you can develop. One of the things that we did is all these labels that you have right here. And more than labels, think of them as frameworks. It's literally having a list, like a to-do list of all the things that you can do to be a better business, and you can tick those boxes as you grow. So it's very useful for you too. So now, we're gonna start with the 5 things that we did. And I'm gonna start with number 1, which is around the environment. One of the things that we did, which every company should start doing if you haven't started yet, is actually to measure your emissions. We measured our emissions, we got our ambition to reduce our carbon footprint by 30% by 2025, and we're really, really well on our way. But before I continue, I wanted to ask you, like, Wetransfer, environmental impact, what does this have to do with it? And I don't know if you know about data centers. They power everything that we do. I always say that the best marketing stunt ever played was calling the cloud, because it's like up there, no one thinks about it, no one cares. They're just like, it's in the cloud. And actually, the cloud is right here on this planet. So I have a question for you. So all those data centers that power your Netflix binge watching, your scrolling on TikTok, how much data centers workload increased between 2015 and 2022? What do you think? C? Anyone else? Show hands. A? B? C? Oh, B. We had a few B's, great. C's? Great. I did it as a tricky question because it's really interesting. I chose a date, 2022, because that's when artificial intelligence started, right? So if you think about it, yes, now you're probably right. I think we're in number C. But actually, the right answer is B, 340%. So it's been increasing, and now people say that compute, which is actually what data centers use, is the oil of the 21st century. So it's actually the thing that instead of like fighting for energy and gas, we're gonna start like to get our hands on data centers and compute. So now if you think about what you can do on the phone that you have probably in your pocket, those phones that capture all your parties or the festivals, your prom pictures, and you're saving all those pictures in your phone. So also roughly how much CO2 can be saved each year by clearing out unwanted images in your phone? A, B, C, what do you say? C, over here, A. Okay, a few A's, awesome.
What is the context? Yeah? Is it globally or is it...
Is it just on your phone, just for one person? One person. If you start today deleting images on your phone, it will take a few days. What do you think? B. It's actually 11 kilograms of CO2. And this is how much one tree captures in a year. So think about it. And I'm not telling this story to make you feel guilty and be like, oh my God, today I'm going to delete everything on my Gmail and on my phone. It's actually to kind of link the two dots and think about your businesses. Because in the business, if you're going to create a software as a service, or if you're going to go in artificial intelligence, or even if you're doing clothes and you have a website, you're going to be using data centers and you're going to be using infrastructure. So think about those waste. There is waste that is invisible, but it exists. And you can help and push your engineers to help you to make sure that you're building things that are cost and carbon efficient. And that's what we did. So I gathered all my engineers. I did a game day just to raise awareness. When engineers were raised and they were teaching this at school, it was not a topic. So they don't know how to solve it. So we created a game day with our data center provider, which is AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. And we just brainstormed of solutions. And from there, we kind of planted the seed on our engineers, and thanks to them, we have been able to reduce our emissions just on servers alone by 78% in 2022 and 55% from our 2019 baseline. So this is really something that everyone can do, and you can do when you create your business. If you're creators, if you're in retail, whatever you do, you can make sure that you're running things and optimizing them for efficiency. Since we are also an advertising platform, I also want you to consider digital advertising. So you're watching TikTok or Instagram, and then there's that ad. How did that ad got there? It's also energy, it's also data centers, it's also compute. Since we are digital advertising as well, we wanted to make sure that we did our part there. So we provide carbon emissions reports to all of our clients to ensure that we keep educating them hey, yeah, this advertising is great, you're gonna be able to do, to reach your outcome, but also think about how we can do that digital advertising efficiently. All right, thing number 2, which is on employees. So our ambition is to be a certified great place to work. Oh yeah, I forgot that we have here the points all into transparency, and I wanted to make sure that everyone saw when we started and how much we improved, so you can see that right there. So one of the things that we did since we became a B Corp is that we started asking our employees yearly what they wanted. And it's something that everyone can do. Just ask your employees, how can I be more of a better employer to you? One of the things that they asked us was better work-life balance. And so we started piloting a 4-day work week. So working just 4 days a week. And we couldn't do it the whole year. It's very hard. If you're a large business, it's very hard. All of a sudden, just work 4 days. So there's a way that you can pilot things to make sure that you balance people, planet, and profit. One of the things that we did is that we had Summer Fridays. So since 2021, we launched our Summer Friday initiative. In July and August, all of our employees got the Fridays off. And we started measuring how does that improve our productivity? How does that create any backlash on our business KPIs, key performance indicators? How can we make sure that we still manage to do things smarter? Instead of working 5 days, that we work 4 days. Now what became a pilot is now officially a perk. And what we learned is that for Wetransfer, which is different for every business, it's better if we work 4 days a week on August, and then again 4 days a week on the winter break. So people can have all the winter to relax, and also in August when it's also parents' holidays. So we're also supporting an inclusive business that way. All right, thing number 3. Our ambition is to amplify diverse voices in creativity and the arts. So one of the things that you probably don't know is that Wetransfer on that advertising space, we donate 30% to creatives and causes that matter to us. So we support nonprofit organizations or creatives like this one. And through that work, we've been able to actually do good. This is one of my favorite quotes. It's from an artist in Sweden. And she was able to make a living, make a business, have a viable income thanks to us highlighting them on our website, giving them exposure and supporting their business. So the key thing here is like we are supporting our creative community. That is who we seek to serve. But think about your audience. Who do you seek to serve, and how you can ensure that you have a community thriving in the years to come. Because you want to be a business, you know, in the long run. If you want to have, if you want to sell your outfit, if you want to sell makeup, whatever you want to do, you want to make sure that in the future that community is still there. So you have to support them. And one of the ways that we've done that is also by giving 1% of our revenue to emerging creatives and artists. So if you're an artist over here, or you have like an impact organization that is also based on creativity, you can apply to those grants every year. Okay, step number 4, our ambition is to provide tools to serve the needs of the entire creative community. And if you think about Wetransfer, you're going to think about, okay, we're sharing our photos of our family, our wedding, private documents, and we wanted to ensure that there's enough trust and safety protocols in place and processes to keep things secured. So, you know, like what's yours is yours. We don't want to scan it. We don't want to look at it, but we want to make sure that no one else does. So we got our ISO certification, which is like one of the highest standards of security, and it's one of the things that you can consider as you grow your business. How can you make sure that privacy and security of your products are based by this, built by design? And rule number 5, improvement number 5, which is on the governance section. So our ambition is to lead in responsible tech by being transparent and accountable in our decision making. And this one is really tricky because it really depends on your business. On our business, we're really focused on the creative community, but also ensuring that our employees can make better choices, and that our users, our creative community, can also make better choices. And one of the things that we did was create a responsible business travel policy. So with that, we ensure that, okay, if we're traveling around a certain radius, we are going to travel by train, and it's the way to go. It's the only way. Because if we want to be able to have a planet in the future, we need to start to do our part, and our employees need to start to do that as well. So thanks to that, we were able to reduce by 63% the emissions of travel by headcount. These are relative emissions, so for people that are not into environmental sustainability factors, what it means is as you grow your business, you're going to hire more people. You're going to need more employees. But what you don't want is that your emissions grow at the same pace as your profit. Meaning you want to decouple them. You want your emissions to grow at a slower rate and hopefully start decreasing, and then your business to keep growing. And that's something that we've been able to do, and that now we have proven that it's actually possible. Okay, so we're almost in the finish line, and what is important is I want all of you today to, go out there, get your beer. We're in the final deep dive of the day. And while you're drinking, consider, what can I do in my own business to do things better? What can I encourage my employer to do things better, to build better businesses? How can I take that step? How can I plant that seed? Because we spend more than 80,000 hours at work. So I really believe that businesses have the power to change things, and we can do that if we all kind of make a commitment to do that. And yeah, it takes time, more than you think, but it is possible. So before you leave, this is our cheat sheet to begin today. A lot of people ask me like, it's very hard to bring sustainability on our businesses, or it's very hard to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion in the business. Yeah, it is very hard, because usually the people that are working on those projects are very siloed. So you have to learn the business language. You have to know, what's profits, what not, what is revenue, what is P&L. You have to learn everything about the business so you're able to make stronger business cases. If you want to pilot a 4-day work week in your business or in your company, you can do that as well. Social responsibility spheres are often overlooked. You have to build a movement from within. Don't work in silos. Get your other colleagues to work together. Talk to other employees and say, like, hey, what can we do? Or talk to your co-founder, what can we do today? Impact is never a solo project. It's really a business thing. It's, you have to find your allies all around, and success is achieved when you actually embed all of that in your business. So before you go, everything that I just shared with you with tools and tips and tricks is all online. I was going to put a QR code, but who uses QR codes anyway? Just ask ChatGPT, Wetransfer, make an impact better, Wetransfer B Corp, and it will tell you the full story right there. So thank you.
These few questions, if you don't mind. And thanks for that very insightful, but also extremely practical talk. The companies can just use the blueprint that you gave for them to start doing things. Before we take questions from the audience, because I know they will disperse right away, I will make some quick announcements, and then we do the Q&A with you. If you're posting photos or post on LinkedIn or other social media channels, please use the hashtag Upstream 2024, because we would like to see what you're talking about, and we would like to know your experience from today. And also, please do download the swap card. It will still be available for a few days after today, so you can still connect with people that you've met today, or you still want to connect afterwards. There's also an after party happening today called Upstream. This will be at Bar Strom, the former Aloha bar. They have a new terrace and a new bar that opened up just a few weeks ago. And we're going to have the after party there. It's called Upstream. And if you look up Upstream, you'll find it together. And now we will have some Q&A with Lina. And let me kick it off, because you also are very proud of the achievements that you've done. You really wear it on your sleeve. I would like to ask you, personally for you, what is something that you've implemented that you're most proud of?
The thing that I'm most proud of is really the sustainability part. It's really getting engineers. Engineers are problem solvers. You just need to give, it's beautiful when you give them a problem to solve and they will do the rest for you. So when you arrive with a problem like, hey, how can we make sure that when we store files that we can do it in the right way? They will go ahead and do things for you. And they will just make solutions that I don't even understand. So yeah, that's my biggest achievement.
Oh, nice. Good to hear. The engineers are also coming in handy this way on the digital tech companies. Yeah? You had a question? All right.
So I'm Jimena. I'm Customer Experience Manager of the Social Hub. Ooh, why does this always happen? So, well, first of all, super inspiring presentation, and I was also very conscious after the questions. I almost wanted to take a photo, but I feel a bit conflicted about making a photo. And my question has to do with that. So you made us, I think, all of us very aware of our digital footprint, and you talked about, for example, making your own organizational efforts with the engineering work and also making your partners aware with the advertising. Have you also worked on some strategies or campaigns to make the end-to-end more user more conscious about what is our footprint?
I love that question. So, I don't know, can you hear me? Yeah. We've been, I don't know if you know the term greenwashing. Have you heard about it? Greenwashing. So we have greenwashing, and then the other extreme is greenwashing, just like being very quiet. I think Wetransfer has been at fault. Like, we've been very quiet, working on our little things right here, and like haven't been as loud. And this year is the first year that we've been a bit more louder. And so just in Earth Day, we had a quiz when we wanted to raise awareness about that, so asking people questions. So there's a lot more to come. There's a lot more that we want to do because people are not aware. We have a lot of people just storing files on Wetransfer that they never see again, which is great. I mean, that's what we're there for. And we're actually doing our part to store that in what we call cold storage. So it's like it goes in a little freezer, let's say, that it's lower carbon emissions, so it doesn't produce those many emissions. So we're doing our part, but we also need the user to do their part as well. Yeah, great question.
All right, thank you. Right here, please.
Hello? Okay, so I really love the input that you put into artistry, right? I also love artistry myself. I guess I'm an artist. How the example that you gave of the woman who now is making a living from her art from being presented on your platform, how did you get to have her be visual on your platform? Like, how did you choose her? Did she come to you guys? How do you guys do that?
Great question. So for all, not just you, but all artists out there, we have our editorial guidelines, and we want to cover over the world globally. So we have like all the in the year we want to cover all countries. So we're very proud that we cover more than 1,500 artists from all over the world, from more than 190 countries. So we're getting there, and you can actually apply. There's an email that you can share your stuff and be like, hey, dear We Present team. Our We Present team also goes to a lot of events and exhibits. We also sponsor our own. So ITFA in Amsterdam, for example, we sponsor, so just go to those events and meet them as well. So we have our curator team that is always looking for talent. What we want is to tell unexpected stories. We want to uncover those. We still don't want we sometimes work with Olafur Eliasson, which is a very famous artist from, I think, Denmark or Scandinavia, or Marina Abramovic, for example. So we work with big names, or Moses Sumney that you saw on the slide. So we also work with big names, but what we cover is really those little stories from creativity. So you can just definitely apply. There's an email for you to know. We have a certain number of things that we want to talk about, so it needs to kind of be the perfect time. We have topics that we want to highlight. Our platform highlights diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we champion diversity through this platform we present. So, just go ahead and write to us, and we're very happy to uncover those stories. Now, once you're in the platform, we give you an article, so we write about you, or you tell the story that you want to tell. Either it's photography, videographer, gaming, whatever it is. And then we put it also on all of our social platforms and wallpapers, which is the advertising that you see there. And that's how you get the exposure. And we have the numbers, like more than 85% of our artists that have been highlighted via our platform increase their traffic of their website. So we give them a lot of visibilities. Now where we want to move is not only giving them visibility, but actually helping them to make a living. And that's why we just launched 1 month ago what we are calling paid transfers, or paid to download, because we want to move in this space. We really want to ensure that the creatives that we work with can make a living, not just give them exposure.
This is something we talked about. It's going to be also game-changing for other freelancers that are out there as well, small businesses. Yeah. Any other questions? One last question, please. And then we wrap up.
Hello. Hi. As to the reduction in emissions, 75%, 55% that you had your engineers solve, right? Can you indicate what percentage of your budget was actually diverted?
So we reduced by 23% our costs of AWS. Is that what you...
Can you hear me? You said that you tasked the engineers with some of these problems, right, to solve. Obviously, Wetransfer has a lot of cash. So how much indication-wise, how much of your budget was actually diverted just to solve these sustainability problems rather than features?
Oh, I see. So it's funny because we don't talk it about in that way. I cannot tell you how much money was spent on this project. I can tell you how much money it was reduced. So all of our cost, of our 100% of costs of our server, thanks to the improvements, we reduced 23% of those costs, which is a lot. Because you still grow your business, we're still offering our service worldwide, but we're reducing the costs of what we do. So that's why, our leadership was like, oh, wow, you're doing such a great job. Let's do more of that. And I was like, okay, now we're talking.
That's interesting. Thanks.
Okay, we need to wrap it up because there's also the Ketelbinky Awards that's happening right afterwards. But in 1 or 2 lines, Lina, what is next for your team and Wetransfer?
Yeah, our next thing is to be louder, So please help us share the word. A lot of people don't know about what Wetransfer does. We're a Dutch company also. A lot of people doesn't know that. So just like spread the word. And if you're creatives or have creative friends or photographers, videographers, gamers, anything to do with creativity, just send them our way. We're here to help them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lina, everyone.